Chapter 3. I stumbled back from the person I tried to run over while escaping Reinhardt's office. Sorry about that. The voice sounded familiar, as were his black boots. Oh crap. The hottie in the shower! My mind whirled a million miles an hour as my eyes unwillingly rose. He wore brown bracers over his boots to cover his shins. Snug black pants clung to his legs and a gun strapped to his right thigh. A wide black leather belt looped through the top of his holster, hanging on his hips at an angle. The low rise of his pants left part of his firm, pale stomach exposed, and the slightly frayed hem of a rich, deep red top barely grazed his navel. He wore a custom-made leather jacket, a bold dark blue and black piece stitched together with strips of white. The short sleeves of the jacket each displayed the council insignia, a sword, what else, and also were outlined in white. A set of dog tags engraved with a more detailed replica of the council insignia hung around his neck. His left hand sported a long blue leather fingerless glove. His right hand also had fingerless black glove with a thick blue wrist reinforcements over white sport wrapping to the thick of his forearm. A slim but muscular build implied fighting experience. My eyes finally went up to his face. Oh my god. He had a strong jaw with full lips and a straight sloped nose and two gorgeous aqua-colored eyes set behind thick dark lashes. His pale, flawless complexion framed by layered, long black hair. A true deep black color with blue and purple tones that came out under the right lighting conditions. The slight wave to his hair gave the layers volume and texture, but the two startling white, not blonde white, but actual white, streaks in his bangs, forming parentheses around his eyes, sent a jolt through me. I knew him. Oh, hell no, I exclaimed, spinning around as everything snapped into place. The whole thing with the Skylark was a setup. The freaking council planned to put their poster boy on display in my city with a dang dragon running around. Gwen, we were going to talk about this. They turned a dragon loose in my city, Reinhardt, so their pet slayer could get some face time? My rage absolutely consumed me. It licked at my skin like a flame. They risked the lives of citizens here. That goes against everything we stand for. There was no real danger. Graham's tone incensed and fed my already out-of-control temper. The shelter-in-place order was given and enforced before the Skylark was even released. No one was going to get hurt. You and I would have hunted the Skylark, killed it, and then smiled for all the cameras. I closed my eyes and caressed my forearm sheaths where my knives rested. Drawing one good deep breath, I unloaded all of my anger and frustration on him. You arrogant son of a bitch! You have the nerve to stand here and talk about my city, my friends, my family, as if they weren't worth anything but a good shot? The anger caused my body to tremble. You either got some big freaking stones or nothing but air in that big fucking head of yours, because from where I sat today, nothing the council planned went right. It was all under control. Trust me. Nothing was going to happen. Trust you? The words tasted nasty, bitter as I said them. You came here. You set a dragon loose on my citizens, lost control of it, and you want me to trust you? Everything went as planned except for that, and I was supposed to be there with you, Graham replied. Other than that, it went perfectly. The officer was simply a miscalculation. Is that what you're going to tell his wife and twin baby daughters? I growled through my clenched teeth while stroking both blades and trying not to think of killing him where he stood. That her husband and father was simply just a miscalculation, and that he wasn't supposed to die. But hey, look at the bright side. We killed the dragon we set loose in your city, and we got some really great pictures to go with it. I don't deal with bereaved families. It's just too much trouble. And that was it. His nonchalant reply flipped a switch inside of me, and I moved lightning quick, drawing both knives and lunging at him. With one blade pressed against his throat and the other positioned at the base of his sternum, angled upward towards his heart, I snarled, "You're too much trouble to be kept alive, but I'm gonna leave you that way. Go back to the council, go be their little whore, and get out of my freaking town, or I will kill you." I leaned into Graham. Something cold and hard pressed into my left side. It brought a nasty sneer to my lips. "I'm glad you're taking me more seriously than you did with the lives of the city's people." "This is a modified Desert Eagle with a 12-round clip." Graham's voice went soft and breathless. "It has armor-piercing rounds designed to penetrate even the thick, bony, plated scales of a nidhogg. I pull this trigger, and the bullet will rip through your chest, obliterating your lungs and heart before leaving a massive exit wound." "That's perfect." I pressed even harder against the barrel of the gun. Graham's height pissed me off, and I had to crane my neck to glare at him. I hate being short. Some days I wish I was a 10-foot-tall, bulletproof bitch people say I am made out to be. This is one of those days. In time, it takes your special ammo to tear me apart, and I'll have to cut off your head, flay your chest, and rip your heart out. "I think you're overestimating your speed, Gwen," Graham smiled. It would have been dazzling if you weren't making fun of me." "No, I don't think so." My smile, a perfect intimidation of his. "I know exactly what I'm capable of." A loud clink and clatter sounded through the office as his belt, gun holster, and dog tags fell to the floor. A thin line of blood welled at his throat. If I surprised Graham, he kept it hidden. "Underestimating your opponent will get you killed every time, Graham," I growled, my tone harsh and barely above a whisper. "Do not mistake me for one of those trussed-up Thanksgiving dragons the council gives you to play with. My fangs, my claws are sharp, and they cut to the bone, and sometimes through it." "Well, working with you is going to be fun." Graham patronized me by mussing my hair. "I can't wait for our first hunt together." I flicked the knife in my right hand. Graham did not notice the movement. I jerked the handle up, catching his arm right above his elbow. Using his temporary pain as a distraction, I twisted at the hip, knocking the gun from his other hand. Turning the second knife, I gave Graham a quick jab in the gut. "Don't touch me, asshole." "See you later, XV." I stepped away as Graham doubled over, gasping for air and clutching his stomach. "We're not hunting together. You're leaving. Now. And so am I." Slinging the broken strap of my duffel over my shoulder, I fought not to wince when the weight pressed onto my tattoo, making it hurt. I walked out of Reinhardt's office. "Gwen!" Reinhardt called after me. "Where are you going? We're not done. You and your partner need to—" "He is not my partner!" I screamed at him. "Anyone so blatantly disrespectful with such a little value in life will never be my partner." "Guinevere Reed, you don't get to pick and choose who your new partner is." Thank you so much for that follow. Reinhardt took a more authoritative tone. "Whether you like it or not, Graham is your partner. Get used to it." "Get used to it," I growled, flipping Reinhardt the finger, "because I'm not taking this arrogant ass with mush for brains on a hunt." "Don't leave Camelot until you've come back and talked to me," Reinhardt replied, ignoring my obscene gesture. "We still have to talk about what happened to the Skylark." Crap. He hinted at my new tattoo. "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go to the armory and clean up my gear and replace my scabbard. I'll probably take a new strap for my duffel as well. It's a pain carrying all this junk like this. I went to the armory. The eerie silence of the room welcomed me and compared to the noisy office drama earlier. I walked row after row of weapons and equipment, gathering the items I needed. My sword being the only piece I used, so cleaning it really didn't take that long. I also found a sheath to replace the one I lost. Taking a honing stone to the end of the row, I worked my blade over the stone, using the rhythmic motion and sound to soothe the pain in my chest. Pierce would never put up with Graham's bull. He'd have beat the shit out of Graham and then terrorized Reinhardt and anyone else who tolerated Graham's indifferent attitude. The rhythm broke as the block of my tears gave way. Tears dotted the stone and blurred my vision. "Suck it up, stupid," I mumbled aloud, scrubbing away at my tears. "You just have to get rid of that asshole and find a way to send him packing. He's no different than the others." I wiped the blade of my sword and the stones before resuming. I barely got 3 strokes completed when a voice startled me by saying, "I'm sorry about that." I ignored the blonde kid's apology focused on the movements of the blade. Graham can be an ass, but he's really dependable. The kid took a seat beside me. He's a good partner. He doesn't deserve to be a slayer. I kept my pace as I spoke. Anyone who can't respect life should not be allowed to take it. It's not that he doesn't respect life, because he does. But Graham hates to lose, and he's losing to you, big time. Oh, well, that makes it all the better. I checked my sword before slipping it into the new scabbard. Him being a macho dick excuses the fact that he went along with the plan that they put innocent people I deal with every day, at risk. And I should feel privileged that I'm his partner? No, screw that. I stood and the kid followed. Okay, I see your point. But the one I'm trying to make is that you should give Graham a chance. He is really good at what he does. He's a public executioner. I swapped the strap on my bag and then stared out the door. He should go back to being a lapdog of the council because he's completely out of his league here. He can't. Yes, he can. All he has to do is swallow his pride and tell Excalibur that I'm impossible to work with and they'll reassign him. No, he can't, the kid repeated. He really, honestly can't. Graham won't give up and go back without a fight. Hey, look, kid. Michael, he said quickly. My name's Michael Galahad. Okay, Michael. I turned to face him. Graham's stuck-up pride is not my concern. The town and its citizens are. And as long as he's here, they're all at risk because he can't pull his head out of his cute derriere long enough to look around. His ego is going to get someone killed. Please give him a chance, Michael pleaded. Graham is pissed that you beat him and killed that Skylark. It's making him mean, but he'll get over it, so please reconsider keeping him as your partner. No, I said bluntly. Please! Michael hurried to keep up with my brisk pace. I promise he's not nearly as bad as he seems. What are you, his frequent publicist? I snapped, coming to an abrupt stop. I'm not a member of the moronic public who fawns all over him because he can kill dragons and looks good doing it. I will not be wowed by the front so you can take your line of bullcrap and choke on it. I resumed my brisk pace down the hall when Michael said I was Graham's partner until the council decided to put him with you. Then keep him. I don't want anything to do with him. But you're such a better match for him. Michael hustled alongside me. You have a perfect kill record, and that's why the council chose you. You are the only one that can keep up with Graham. Keep up with him? Aw, thank you guys. I threw my head back and laughed. I don't have to keep up with someone who's 100 years behind me. Graham has never been on a real hunt. His prey has always been given to him. Even on the Skylark today, he was going to be served to him on a platter. If he insists on following me, he'll die. I really don't want to feel responsible for his death. One is enough for me to bear, thank you very much. I headed for the front walk, and Michael asked, "Where are you going? I thought Mr. Bubba wanted to talk to you before you left." I heard him, but seeing as he had his hands full stroking Graham's bruised ego, I figured we'd talk later. Like, way later. I smiled at Michael. "You'll be doing me a huge favor by not telling him I'm going home." Michael pawed. "He knows I came to talk to you. In fact, he recommended it." "Well, then you can tell him I'm leaving." I pushed the door open. Either way, I'm out of here. I started down the walk towards the guard shack. One of the guys would give me a ride home as long as Reinhardt didn't think to tell him that I wasn't supposed to leave without permission. But I got lucky. Reinhardt expected me to play by his rules, and I got my ride home without any trouble. My ride happened to be the chatty type. He pumped me for information, hoping to find out if I had the chance to win the Gwen chased off another partner pool. But I think my very blunt answers confused the poor guy, but I didn't care. Hello? Currently having a crisis without the need to be pestered? Could you please just, drop dead?" The guard finally fell silent when we turned into my neighborhood. I thanked him and started towards the lobby of the apartment complex with no intentions of going home. I knew I should go upstairs and let Evelyn work on my bracers, but I just had the urge to walk. As the guard drove away, I turned in the other direction, not really sure where to go. I found myself standing outside of Speed's house. Aaron Speed is my on-again, off-again boyfriend. We've known each other for a long time, and from the first day we met, there's always been something between us. Not just cooties, especially when Speed announced to the entire cafeteria that I was the girl he would marry. Our relationship became rocky shortly after I became a fully recognized Slayer. Speed gets jealous very easily, and he hated thinking about me and Pierce, and being alone on hunts for days, and sometimes weeks. I can only put up with so much of Speed's crap and end up kicking his butt to the curb more than once, but we usually get back together. It's kind of become the rule in our relationship. I probably should have dumped him a long time ago, but I like the familiarity of being with him, so I overlook a lot of things that I would normally beat the snot out of other guys for with him. The last few months we've been together, Speed's felt distant. Or maybe I'm the one who's distant. I'm really not sure. Of course, Speed's drinking and smoking and crappy stupid behavior has also been bugging the heck out of me. I miss my Speed. The sweet guy who opened doors and called me beautiful even if it's a lie. But the drunken stoner with Speed's face keeps getting in the way. I looked up into the clear fall sky at midday. Surely Speed would not be drinking and smoking. Surely. I mustered my courage using the Speed that I've loved for most of my life. As I focused and went in the door, I barely put my first step in when the door popped open. Two tightly twined bodies stumbled through the door, oblivious to my presence. A very blonde and very bubbly Stacy Key. The person I once thought was my friend, giggling and groping a half-naked Speed. Neither of them noticed me while they kissed. By Speed, Stacy breathed, her hand by sliding down Speed's bare chest into the waistband of his jeans. "I'll be back later." Stacy turned, and I watched as her mouth formed a surprised O, and fear flicked across her face. My mind couldn't even process a nasty insult. Too shocked by the image of my boyfriend, well, I should say my ex now, and my best friend, yep, also an ex-best friend, acting like dogs in fucking heat. I couldn't stop the tears that I felt stinging my eyes or the violent quivering of my lips. "Gwen?" Speed shoved away from Stacy when he noticed me. "It's not what you think." Actually, Stacy slid her arm around Speed's waist, having recovered from the initial surprise of seeing me. "It's exactly what you think." Speed and I hooked up last night. Speed broke out of Stacy's grasp and started down the stairs. He touched my arm, causing me to jerk away. Thank you for that follow. I stared at him, unsure of what to say. He cut me so deep that my heart bled out, keeping my mind from working properly. Thank the lady for that. I totally would have killed Stacy the slut if I were sane right now. He reached out a second time, rubbing his hand up and down my arm. I'm sorry, babe, he murmured. I didn't mean to hurt you. I met his deep brown eyes. They were red-rimmed and bloodshot from his binge the night before. His thick brown hair did its little cowlick curl when he bent his head. The smell of sour alcohol filled my nostrils. I pulled away from him again. There's no working through this one, Aaron. You can blame the booze, you can blame the drugs. Hell, you can even blame Stacy because she knew what she was doing, but it won't change this. Gwen, come on, I love you. Speed pleaded. Give me a chance to make this right. I thought love was enough, but it's not. I took another step backwards, almost stumbling over my gear. At some point, it had fallen on the ground, and I picked it up again. The feel of my gear's weight supported me as I said the words I needed to say. I would end this farce of a relationship. You're not the guy I fell in love with anymore, Aaron. I don't even know who you are, because the Aaron Speed I know wouldn't have done this. He wouldn't have slept with my best friend, and he wouldn't have broken my heart. Gwen, babe, please, don't do this. Don't walk away from me. You know I'd do anything for you, beautiful. My heart clenched. I wanted to believe him. I wanted to give him that chance, but I knew he wouldn't change. Speed uses the same pitiful plead every single time we fight, and I always fall for it. I'm sorry, Aaron. I shook my head slowly as I moved further away from him. But you and me, we're through. You've gone too far this time, and I honestly don't think my heart can recover from it. Gwen, please. Goodbye, Aaron. Have fun with your beer and weed and whatever makes you happy nowadays. I jutted my chin at Stacy. Bye, Stacy. I hope you get eaten by a pack of rabid knuckers, you skanky hag from hell. I kept my head high, and I walked away, but I couldn't hide my tears. I wandered around the neighborhood before crashing on a park bench to bawl my eyes out. I curled my knees to my chest, and I started to think of that day I couldn't possibly get any worse. But I always forgot how things can always get worse. So much worse. Then a shadow passed over me. Well, hello, partner. Grams chimed facetiously. I didn't look up as he sat on the bench. Just what I needed. An arrogant ass that's totally hot, catching me boo-hooing and snotting all over myself. Graham would have a field day with this big bad slayer getting her heart broken. Hey, what gives? Graham pressed. I figured you'd tell me off or at least cuss me out. When I still didn't respond to Graham's goading, he said, okay, the silent treatment, I get it. You probably think that I'll get bored and go away, but you're wrong. I'm a very patient person. I can sit here all day. Why does everything always have to be about you? I snapped, but not with my usual force. Why can't I just be having a crappy day? Why can't I be miserable because my 17th birthday is totally tanked? I mean, seriously. You've been around me less than 10 minutes, and you think I fell right into that Graham freaking Albanian is the center of attention of the universe crap. Please. No. Just please. I unfueled my knees and raised my head. You want to pick a fight with me? Then come back tomorrow. I'll be ready to go to the death by then. Graham rose, and I figured he left. After all, he wasn't into the emotional junk. I sniffled and dug through my duffel for something to blow my nose on when a wad of napkins got shoved in my face. Here, Graham said softly. You're seriously unattractive when you cry, and my partner can't be ugly. Don't think that a handful of dirty napkins and a weak moment makes you my partner. I took the napkins and used them. Wouldn't be any fun if you turned that way easily, Graham retorted. He sat beside me with his hands clasped between his knees. Look, I know we didn't exactly get off on the right foot earlier, and I didn't mean to come across you as not caring about the people of the city, but like you, I too am having a bad day. Seriously, your day has been worse than mine.
Try me.
I blinked. Graham offered to listen to my horrible bad birthday proms. Sounded like a bad idea. My eyes narrowed with suspicion. You first. Why, are you worried I'm going to blackmail you? No, I rolled my eyes. My drama's going to be a total gaffe, but I don't feel like going first. Plus, you're the one who thinks emotions are too much trouble. So why would I be willing to unload on you just to have you laugh at me? Yeah, I guess I kind of earned that. Graham sighed. Looking up, he said, Today should have been a simple execution, but when I got here this morning, I was told about a new partner and that I had to stay here. Now my best friend and previous partner is being reassigned too, and in less than an hour, my entire world just got flipped upside down. Adding insult to injury, my new partner is the best slayer in the world and is a total bitch. Graham smiled when I did. She kills the dragon I should have killed, refuses to accept me as her partner, and manages to ruin my gear and my pride without even breaking a sweat. Oh, I broke a sweat, I defended with a teasing tone. My hair was just wet from taking a shower so you didn't notice. Oh, well, that makes me feel a lot better, Graham replied sarcastically, as he looked towards me but still smiling. If you're so unhappy, then why not go before the council and tell them what a pain in the ass I am? They'll believe you. I can't. Please. Can the pride thing? Just tell them you don't want to do it. Maybe they'll let you and Michael be a team again. Graham frowned at me, and I added, yeah. He tried to champion your cause to get me to at least give you a chance. He also said something about you not giving up, because you can't, but I think it's just a load of bullshit. You don't understand. I can't, Graham repeated. The council promised that if I became your partner, they'd recognize me as the legitimate heir to the House Pentadragon. Wait, what? Seriously? You're a Pentadragon? See, now this surprised me. When I thought that Edward Pentadragon died in the first raid, so did his entire bloodline. He's my dad, but because I was born out of wedlock, I'm not recognized as a Pentadragon. The council can change that, though. He met my eyes. I'm not leaving, and I'm not giving up, even if that means I have to humble myself to get you to accept me. Well, that's not really humbling yourself, you know. Graham shrugged. I'm working on it. I believe you said being around you less than 10 minutes wasn't going to change your opinion of me, and neither will 15. Well, it might if you keep acting like a human being. A spark of hope filled his eyes, and I quickly squelched it. But you're still not my partner. No, of course not, Graham chuckled. I'm just an arrogant jerk sitting on a park bench with a seriously unattractive slayer whose nose is like a water faucet. Sit on it, asshole, I retorted, but I couldn't help it. I laughed. Graham waited patiently for me to stop laughing and to tell him about my day. I started with my way too early wake-up call, followed by the accidental run-in with the Skylark, and admitted the part about the dragon wings and my curse, and skipping to the office fallout, and ending with Speed's betrayal. And all this happened today, which is your birthday? I nodded, and Graham let out a low whistle. Alright, you win. Your day sucked more than mine. Well, I think both of our days sucked, and a crazy idea popped in my head. And I think we both really need a really good and greasy pick-me-up therapy session. I stood and turned. Come on. I know a dive nearby that serves hot, juicy bacon burgers with tons of cheese and real fresh onion rings. And guess what? I'm buying.